Hi YouTube, Run Level What here, and I've got an interesting question today that was inspired by a knife that I picked up this weekend. And it kind of sparked this question as I was looking onto forums. You know, I on some of the blade forums I saw a topic, whatever happened to Gerber? You know, if you remember quite a few years ago, Gerber was the knife. I mean, their innovation was great. They were American made. I mean, that was the knife. And I actually happen to have what I believe is a testament to that. And it was this little gem right here. Yeah, it looks common, doesn't it? And the reason why is because they still sell it at Walmart. It's the LST. Just search for Gerber ultralight folding knife. You know, you'll see this come up. But anyway, this little gem here, I bought yonks ago. I bought a very long time ago, and at the time I picked this thing up, it's before anybody was using polymers or plastics or anything on knife blades. That was just a crazy idea. Gerber knew how to market it. They you know, and even at the time I was like, well, the price is right. What the heck? You know, I picked it up. I was like, how long can I expect this little piece of plastic to last me? But anyway, I needed a knife, and the size of this one seemed good, nice and lightweight, fit in my pocket. I'm like, yeah, if I get a few years use out of that, fine. Well, if I open this thing up now, I mean, you're going to see the shine on the joints here, you know, the scratches of it. The blade is so dull now. It's never been sharpened. This is not going to hurt anybody. You know, it's you know, it's all full of funk here. It's been, you know, kicked and on the floor and stuff, which is why it's ground back here. But in answer to my original question, how long is that little plastic going to last me? This thing was my EDC for years and years. I believe, so, you know, that kind of leads me into whatever happened to Gerber. You know, well, at some point, they were acquired by Fiskars, and Fiskars was largely known for scissors and doing other, like, shears and that kind of thing. And, you know, ever since, a lot of the manufacturing, for blades at least, has gone overseas in the company. However, this particular little gem, I believe, if I turn it over now, first of all, you'll see a couple of different designs here. You'll see a stamped logo here on the new ultralights, and you're going to see a little bit different here. But you know, this blade, that is one deep stamp in the blade there. I mean, that was just proudly stamped there. And if you turn it over, I don't know if you can see that on the camera very well. I'll move it back and forth a little bit, but clearly says Portland, Oregon, you know, 97223 USA. Okay, so that blade is American. That kind of dates this particular knife. So anyway, that's what happened to Gerber. So Fiskars had taken over and kind of changed it up, because if you look, Gerber does not seem to have the same prominent place on the shelves that some of your Kershaws and CRKTs happen to have. You know, in fact, I think most of the time you'll find them blister packaged so that they can be put on the shelves in Walmarts and Targets and things like that. Is that a bad thing? Is that bad for the company? Probably not. You're probably selling product left and right. You know, but the reason people would order blister packaging rather than ordering your traditional box is because of exactly that. Maybe you don't have somebody attending behind the counter demonstrating the blades and letting you look at them. You know, a lot of times in the big package stores, all you have is a shelf, and somebody's either going to want it or they're not, but nobody's going to open that sucker to, you know, let you take a look at it and flick it around and stuff. So, but anyway, that's what happened to Gerber. After that, I'm assuming it was after the merger. It was probably about 5 years ago. I posted it on Facebook. But this, my faithful EDC of yonks, was replaced by this little gem here. Believe it or not, this is just a box cutter. But I thought it was a testament to the innovation that Gerber still had. At the time, nobody was doing a folding box cutter. I've never seen that before. That was completely new to me. And this was all stainless steel. I'm like, man, I could drop that in water. I mean, that's almost indestructible there. And for the type of work that I was doing, this fit me perfectly. This was my EDC. I was trimming out labels. I was doing a lot of like carving like that where I needed a fine point, you know, a lot of box opening and, you know, receiving parts in and things like that. This was my EDC, and this has been just very faithful. You can buy these for $10 online now. At the time I found it at Target. It was again in blister packaging, and I was like, oh, that's Gerber. That could replace my Gerber, and I was stoked just by seeing the name on it. I knew nothing of the merger with Fiskars. I knew nothing about that, but really didn't care about where. I just looked at it and I was like, wow, that is some innovative stuff. A box cutter, and when the blade, I don't need to worry about sharpening the blade. I just pull the sucker out and replace it. I mean, that was just, something that I gravitated to. When I posted this thing, I was all excited on Facebook, and I got ridiculed for being so excited about it. but anyway, and when you're not using this as a box cutter, guess what? You can actually use that as a money clip. You're not going to have a big old roll in there. It's not high enough for that. But I mean, it's not so incredibly stiff that you can't get a couple of bills under there to keep it organized in your pocket. I mean, that's a dual use right there. So anyway, that's my story of Gerber. And so where are they at now? Don't worry, they're still on the shelves. Like I said, I don't know why they don't have as prominent a place. And don't get me wrong. I mean, CRKT, Kershaw's, those are my favorite knives. I'm going to have some good reviews of those coming up. Gerber's still there. Like I said, I was at Big 5 this weekend, which is what spawned this whole thing. And I picked up this little gem here. This is the Gerber Evo TI. And this is one of the models that was in the case. And you can see it didn't come in blister packaging. It, Big 5 came in the standard box, and you can see, Fiskars, they're, showing their branding there. But anyway, yeah, this is the Evo, and this is a good example of where Gerber is going. This the flipper on it, you have to make a concerted effort in order to open that using the flipper. It's not as smooth and fluid as something like the CRKT Ripple or something, where you just flick that, and it's going to open for you. I think the balance is a little off for that, but you have to actually make a concerted effort. But that doesn't detract from the quality of the product. You've got a 50% serrated blade here. It's all steel. This is very rugged. It's very smooth, very very tight. Deep carry pocket clip, although you need a deep pocket to get that all the way down into, because it's a long handle. The design of this is very similar to this little gem here, and not to detract from Gerber, but here's my CRKT M16. And the M16s are, very similar in design. If you look at that, the blade, the handle shape and everything is very similar. This only has a 25% serrated blade, the Tonto tip. But the concept, I think the market is the same of people that you're trying to attract, Again, I put this a little bit closer into the EDC category, because this will just fit straight into a pocket and, nice and thin, relatively lightweight. This is a nice rugged little knife. This is for a little bit more outdoorsy trip, a little large for me for EDC. But it kind of shows where Gerber's at now. I didn't mean to steal their thunder by bringing out the CRKT. I just wanted to kind of compare it to something that you might know, which is the M16, and so there it is, the Gerber Evo TI. That's where they're at now. So they're still on the shelves. They're just not doing that as much as they are, some of the other little products like this, and some of the stuff that's in the blister packaging and their multi-tools and that kind of stuff is what they're really seem to be focusing on now. But anyway, Gerber knives, they're still out there. I know they're still making, American-made, higher-end knives and stuff. They're doing that as well. But, that's the question, is where are they at in the stores? And, they're still around. So, and they're still making a good product. I think they're still competing in there. Anyway, hope that was informative and hope that answers the question. So, anyway, Run Level What? I'm out.